Herschel Walker now says the reason that people want to take your money is because of trees. Yeah, you know they got the nerve to spend money on trees. Let me go to the video.
They continue to try to fool you like they're helping you out, but they're not. They're not helping you out because a lot of the money is going into trees. You know that, don't you? It's going into trees. We got enough trees. Don't we have enough trees around here?
Whole thing. He was talking about excessive spending, general Republican talking points against Democrats. It's possible Walker might have been referring to a provision in the law that allocates $1.5 billion to the US Forest Service's Urban and Community Forestry Program. That's a good thing. That's a preservation grant. Walker tweeted Monday evening, yes, you heard me right. Joe Biden and Reverend Warnock are spending $1.5 billion on urban forestry, raising taxes on those making under $200,000 to pay for it. Yes, I have a problem with that. So obviously there's nuance and lies associated with this tweet, but it's politics, full contact sport here, right? Now, we know Walker is no stranger to making head scratching remarks. We've covered them a lot on Indisputable. So here's another one about climate change. In a July 9th appearance, he spoke about climate change, suggesting that Georgia's good air decides to float over to China, replacing China's bad air, which goes back to Georgia, where we gotta clean that back up. And listen, I don't have the time to go over all of his ridiculous comments. So the producers here at Indisputable put a little something together for you. Here it is.
One time, science said man came from apes. If that is true, why are there still apes? Think about it.
Do you know right now I have something that can bring you into a building that will clean you from COVID as you walk through this dry mess? They don't want to talk about that.
Senator Lewis is one of the greatest senators that's ever been, and for African American, that was absolutely incredible. I think them to throw his name on a bill of the voting rights, I think is a shame. First of all, when you look at the bill, it just doesn't fit what John Lewis stood for.
He's in a church where man preached is not the color of your skin, but the content of your character. He's never talked about anyone's character. He's always talked about the color of someone's skin.
Cain killed Abel, and that's the problem that we have. And I said, what we need to do is look into how we can stop those things. He talked about doing a disinformation. What about getting a department that can look at young men, that's looking at women, that's looking at just social media? What about doing that, looking into things like that, and we can stop that way?
Sir. We need a department to look into young men looking into young women. You just lost, brother. I have no idea what's going to happen. It's a damn shame that you're even competitive against Senator Raphael Warnock, who, by the way, will be on the show very soon, next week, I think. A damn shame. Adrienne, at this point, I'm kind of at a loss for words here. He's obviously incapable. His own team says he's incapable of leadership. They are continuing to prop him up, basically, to make him seem credible, and he's not. But he's talking, and the more he talks, the more information we get. He's still competitive. He could still win the US Senate race in Georgia. What are your thoughts?
I think it's an absolute and utter shame. This person is not qualified. They have no legitimate plan. They can't even formulate a sentence in some way that it would actually be, communicating something that is worthwhile. It really is an embarrassment to see that this is someone who our society says, yes, they should be in a leadership position and role. It really also shows you this is what racism looks like, when it is something that people are clinging to so steadfast that they're willing to put this individual up as their leader and put him again in a position of power. And they're willing to do that simply because they do not want an educated, informed, solid leader because that individual is a black man.
Yeah, and they do not want an independent thinker. They don't want anyone who's actually able to think for themselves, look at information, look at evidence, make a conclusion. They don't want that. They want someone who will simply do what they are told to do, like a Herschel Walker. So that plays a big part of this entire manipulation happening in the Senate race.